I'm Nahka-Sami, vocalist and bassist of TYRANTTI.
I'm Henkka, the guitarist from TYRANTTI. Fine. I mean,
Perfect. It's like 3 hours to our show right there in the back at Hellsinki Ice Hall. So really couldn't do better. Back in 2019, after the first album, we were supporting Battle Beast here at Hellsinki Ice Hall. We played I think it was a 30-minute set in a night with 4 bands.
Yeah.
So kind of like when people were walking in through the cloakroom, getting their beer, we were about to finish our set. So
Yeah.
but that was still quite something to remember.
yeah. So the conditions are a bit different now for this show.
We wanted to know if we're gonna play on the same day with Doro. And when we found out we're playing on the same day with Doro and Hammerfall, we thought we're not that odd any longer. But then when we saw the running order of our stage, we realized we're the only non-black metal band playing.
Pretty much.
But we got some aces up our sleeves for that.
Yeah, some special stuff is gonna happen on the stage.
TYRANTTI goes black metal today.
Well, you
so-
never know.
You never
I mean, when this comes out, you'll know. But
Yeah, yes.
she and her band, they play a similar type of music to ours. If you compare it to some of the other bands playing today, like Meshuggah or Abbath or Mayhem,
Yeah.
I think at least Doro is a bit closer to our stuff.
I think the writing process started like last year, or we decided that we start making new music, and yeah, now we have already released our second single from the upcoming album, and things are looking quite rosy at the moment. So
Yeah, right after this festival,
Yeah.
we're gonna spend the next 2 weeks in the studio finishing the album, so it's
yeah, it's
pretty much done
yeah.
by
And
now.
even though the last album was somewhat a theme album,
Yeah.
I think this is still more ambitious. It's bigger and it's more dramatic, and I mean all the arrangements and stuff like that, and the production itself, it's more ambitious. So we're excited.
That's
One
good
easy
question,
yeah, one easy answer is more like double bass drums than
Oh, yeah.
ever before. So in that way, more heavier stuff is gonna be released.
Yeah, but in the other end, Uusikko, the second single, is probably I don't know if we should say least heavy song that we've written. It's not, but it's close to that end.
Yeah,
And those 2 singles, I would say, just give a good idea of the variety of songs that we have on that
Yeah.
album. There's more variety in the vocals, definitely. The drums are heavier than before, and the guitar solos are faster.
yeah. And Uusikko is definitely the ballad of the album.
Yeah.
So
And Lihamattoon is definitely not the ballad of it.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice if that was a ballad and everything would be like blast beats and whatever, I guess.
Yeah, then we'd fit better on this stage
Yeah.
today, but
Maybe next time, you know.
yeah. Late this year, late 2024, we have the album release date lined up. We haven't announced it quite yet. Quite soon we will, or it might be released when this comes out. And then we have a bunch of shows lined up for a proper record release tour that's gonna go on for next winter. So we have something else to do than just freezing.
it varies a lot. Usually when you're making your first album, it usually takes a lot longer than the next ones, because you get familiar with the process and you get familiar with your concept or your band or your like
Yeah, and the
Your
first album
thing.
is often the collection of
yeah.
all the demos and everything from the rehearsal room.
Yeah.
So
And I think album by album you get more defined, and you know already what you're gonna do when you start writing music. So it's not about that great exploration anymore. It's making the stuff. So you don't lose that energy elsewhere. So you can just make music.
Yeah.
So it's that way it's a bit easier to work with the deadlines and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a band that needs deadlines to get finished.
Yeah. That's the theme of our fourth album.
Yeah, that's yeah.
The deadline.
Deadlines.
Deadlines. That's a good title. Yeah. But yeah. So like yeah, we needed deadlines. We had good deadlines. We almost kept to the deadlines. Sorry to all the fans that were expecting an album earlier, but I think it was worth the wait. Now we've had the chance to really concentrate the budget also to work on the album, and it's gonna be I mean if you like TYRANTTI before, you're gonna love this one.
Mhm.
That's for sure.
I think more and more because I mean to add to the last thing that I said, that it's like you get more familiar with the process, so you can also start playing with it. And I think this album is gonna be a bit different from the two previous ones, when we are not like focusing on like a specific sound, but we're focusing on more what TYRANTTI can be,
Yeah.
like in the future.
And it also comes from sorry to interrupt. It
No,
also
no.
comes sort of from the live that we play, because like when we were working on the first album, we were just the three of us in the rehearsal room, bass, guitar, drums, vocals, and that was it. And that's how we built songs, and they came to be. But now that since the second album, we've added more and more keyboards to the live that we have. It kind of gives us more headroom, like more
Possibilities,
more
yeah.
possibilities, more
Yeah.
options for songwriting as well, that we keep in mind. Like this is actually something that we could do live with keyboards or with something else. And obviously we play metal. Metal is supposed to be played live. So all the songs that we're writing right now are also songs that we can play live.
Yeah, usually that's like a sign of approval. If we can do it live, then it's worth doing. If it's way too difficult or it doesn't feel right, then usually we don't keep that idea.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, definitely. That's for the people to kind of decide, I guess. We just want to play this music as often as possible to as many people as possible. I mean, at least for me, like, well, making music is important, but as important is playing it live to people. So I'm just hoping that the songs we really believe in right now
Yeah.
will also get us to places like Helsinki Ice Hall and the Hellsinki Metal Festival and festivals like this to get a chance to play it for as many people as possible. I guess. I gotta say, like as we draw energy from the audience, we also draw energy from each other when we play. And when we play at a smaller venue, like awesome venues like Torvi in Lahti, for instance, we just want to go back there, even though the stage is smaller than this couch. It's something like then we could really enjoy kind of playing like back to back like this, or just kind of the intensity is better.
Yeah.
When you're on a big stage, obviously we enjoy it because it means that we have space to run around and like everything will look good. But there's always the downside that we're further away from our audience. So it's harder to kind of drain that energy that you can do easier if you're playing at a smaller venue. So I think we're just as good at any venue.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you never think of that when you're on a stage. I mean, in that what's the word? In that situation when you're playing, that's like some afterthoughts maybe or something like that. But you don't have time to think of that when you're on a stage. I mean, which stage to prefer. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
That's a really good question. I think I'm always thinking about the next chord, like
Yeah.
like where am I? Panic really. And the lyrics, like, oh shit, what's coming next?
I mean, the optimal situation is that you don't have to think anything and you just basically enjoy the whole thing and enjoy the moment with the audience, and that's like some sort of flow tila.
Yeah,
So that's
you're
like
in
yeah,
a flow. So like that's, I guess so. Like I guess you can compare it to like driving a car.
yeah,
You know, when you drive a car and somebody calls you and you pick up the phone, obviously with your hands free, and then and then you just drive for 15 minutes talking, and when the phone call ends, you realize like, oh, I've done 20 kilometers, like,
yeah,
and you still didn't hit the car anywhere. And I
Yeah.
think like playing live is something like that. You just
Yeah.
realize at some point like, fuck, this is the last song.
Yeah.
So what happened?
yeah,
And you played everything right, and you kind of performed in the meanwhile, and it's just you're just in that kind of space.
yeah,
After the first album, we toured a lot, and the album was only, I think, 37 minutes long. We played all the songs, and we were exhausted after the shows. And then we released the second and decided like that we're gonna play at least 60 minutes. And I think our record release show was 70 minutes long with like added guitar solos and drum solos. And we were, I mean, at least I was terrified beforehand, like how am I gonna last for 70 minutes? But still, those shows went like that. It was like this. It doesn't really matter. It's either 35 or 70 minutes or 90 minutes in the future. You just lose it when you
Yeah.
start playing, and that's what I love about it.
yeah.
Varo tyranttia.
Watch out for Tyrantti.